right, so we are going to, in this class, we are going to cover the song Spain by Chick Corea, just specifically only working on the solo section. And I'm going to teach you how to do the bass line, I'm going to teach you how to do the comping, which is the inner voices, and I'm going to teach you how to solo over the changes. And it's a lot to cover, and that's exactly and everything that I'm going to cover in the next like 50 minutes. And you're going to start by wanting to have a pencil and a piece of paper. And I'm going to demonstrate the entire progression, and I'm going to tell you what it is and invite you to make your own chart, because that is going to empower you, the ability to make your own chart and to give yourself a visual aid in many situations. Because otherwise what happens is people, they just work with melodies. And you already know how to play melodies. So we're not learning melody, we're learning all the other parts. So I'll tell you as I'm going through it here. I'm going to find an open channel. Here's an open channel. Okay. So you want to start by making yourself a chord chart. And all that is like, you just write the symbol, and then you make a bar line, basically. But then ideally, we want to have like a music staff underneath that so that you can add in thirds and sevenths, just like a couple voices. So, can anybody shut, or should I shut that door? I'm going to tell them they can go in the other room. Okay, cool. Okay, the first chord is a G major 7. So you're going to put G, and then either a triangle 7 or a MAJ. So whatever tells you that it's a major 7. So that happens again. Then F sharp 7. E minor 7. A 7. 7, G major 7, C sharp 7, F sharp, B minor, B7. That's the whole thing. I slowed down a little bit. I'll just say it again. F sharp, 7, E minor 7, I want you to write in your third and seventh. So I'll just tell you what the third and 7 is on G major 7. It's just a B and an F sharp, B and an F sharp. That's going to be A sharp and E on the F sharp 7. That's D and G, C sharp and G, C sharp and F sharp, B and F sharp, so you can also figure it out on your own, right? Because it's a G major 7. So what is the third on a G major 7? It's a major third from G.
B natural.
Right, it's a B natural. And what's the major 7th of a G major 7? It's an F sharp, right? So then the next chord, F sharp 7, we have a major third, which is A sharp, or B flat if you prefer. Then we have a flat 7th, which is E. So you can just go through every single chord. Does anybody have a question about any of those chords? What's your third and what's your 7th?
The third chord is an E minor 7?
Yeah. And so the reason I'm having you write in your thirds and sevenths is because we're going to try to do this comping thing, right? Which there's one thing is the notes, the other thing is the rhythms. So if we're doing swing, then we're going to be doing like rhythms like this. But if we're doing like this bossa nova rhythm, then we might have a different rhythm. In this case, we're doing this 2-3-2 Clave. So, but for now, you can just grab your thirds and sevenths. So. E minor 7. If you're on the cello, then you should play your third and seventh high on the D and A string. If you're on the violin, you should play your third and seventh low on the G and D string. Now, third and seventh, this is not an ear exercise. It's knowledge. So you either need to write it out or know it. Third and seventh. Third and seventh, no fifths. Ideally, you'll be on the D and A string where the inner voices. I don't want to be muddy. You know what I mean? Now, when you're ready, at any point, and by the way, if the double stops are too hard, you don't have to play double stops, but you can. And then at some point, we're going to put this rhythm to it, which is. Right? So we'll try that. Let me just take a second and see if anybody needs anything. Any questions about it?
Second to last chord.
B minor. I'm calling it a B minor. I mean, you could call it a B minor 7.
Are you going for root and the third?
Yeah, root and third or third and fifth. Anytime, if it's a triad, then you can just play any combination.
Okay.
It seems like the E minor to the A7 might be quicker than some of the other changes. Is that true, or are they all 4 beats?
No, some of them are 4, some of them are 2.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. I just wasn't sure where that was.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is 2 bars, G major. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, F sharp. 2 bars. Then we have 1 bar E minor 7. 1 bar A7. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was quicker. Okay.
Cool. Is anybody else need help? Otherwise, you're just figuring it out,
I have a
right?
question.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you say there's 2 bars, that's just the way we're doing it now, as opposed to all the way it is in Spain.
I mean, it depends how you count it. It's just the way I'm counting it now. C sharp 7, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a dominant 7. So if a chord says 7, then it means it has a major third and a flat 7. We just call that C sharp 7, also known as C sharp dominant 7. Okay, so if you want to try to get this rhythm, you can apply that. Otherwise, you can just keep trying to voice lead your thirds and sevenths. Ready, and. right, so since I was talking, I dragged the tempo by the end, so then when it starts at the beginning of the loop, it's a little faster. So, yeah, keep going. You're doing great. 3 and 4. Yeah, and so let me make a note that ideally, now we can just backstep for a second here and just work on this clave.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just only look at the clave. In fact, I'll get rid of this because the time's a little wanky here anyway. So let me just slow it down a little bit. We'll just look on this clave. So my bow is going down, up, 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 down, up. Forever, forever, forever. So one way to think about it is down, down, up, up, up. Down, 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 up, 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 right? It's kind of like that. I'm going to slow it down. Okay. So we can just focus on this for a second. And then we can play anything in the D major scale on this, you know. Yeah, but let's work on the rhythm. Let's work on the rhythm. So that's, you know, if you're like this, then you can gradually try to make some of those accents. Down, down, up, 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 down, 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 up, up, up. Right? Very real well. Yeah. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So a lot of times, sorry, that's really good. That's really good. So what I usually will tell people is just, if it's hard, just focus on being here. And just, it's more important to stay consistent and gradually add the subdivisions. Down, up, down, up. Up, down, 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 up. If that's super easy for you, then you can do like the clave and you can experiment with the clave too. And you can actually flip the 2-bar phrase. So instead it could be like this, 2, 3, 4. Ga, 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 which is called partito alto. It's just the same 2-bar phrase, but you put the 2nd bar first. Right? So once you get comfortable with it, you can flip it around. So I'll just give you like real brief demonstration. So this is the main one. Now I'll flip it. Right. So I'll just give you another minute with this. 2, ready, go. Progression, but more at this tempo, so we can try to get some of the, I'll even take it just a little bit slower. So just bear with me, I got to do the whole progression. Sorry. play the bass line. Ready, and... Sped up a little bit. One more time. Good. So your thirds and sevenths, that's going to be kind of like you're just going to hear that from Jason, you'll hear it from me, you'll hear it from Tammy and Carl. Let me just talk about it briefly. So, you know, for every song, you've got basically your bass line, your melody, and your inner voices. So the inner voices, usually on jazz stuff especially, we're going to grab third and seventh, or third and sixth. So basically, I'll just be like, you need to learn your third and seventh for every chord of every song for the rest of your life, period, the end. So the variation of this with like folk music, if it's triads, then if you're playing triads, then you're learning like root third and fifth, and you're being able to voice lead those all three notes in the triad. But if it's jazz, usually we're trying to be able to have this as a core of being able to just know our thirds and sevenths. Now, since you're going through this slow process right now of writing out the third and seventh on this tune, especially if you did it, and if you're learning it, then the next tune you do, it'll be twice as fast. The next one you do, it'll be twice as fast. And after you've done 5 or 10 of these, you'll be as fast as me and Jason at it. You'll be able to sight read a tune, and you'll be able to play thirds and sevenths, right? But if you resist and you don't learn it right now, if you don't learn thirds and sevenths, if you don't write it out, if you don't empower yourself to do it, then you'll just continue to stay stuck in a, like, I'm trying to hear it, one of these days I'll hear it, but for years and decades. It'll never fix itself. I went through that. So it's not like you just magically all of a sudden going to hear everything. It doesn't work that way. You got to study it. You study it, and then you hear it though. Then you will hear it. The thing is, we're not taking away your ability to hear things. We're helping you hear it faster by saying, here's what it is. Let's study it. Let's examine it. Now you're going to start to hear it, and you're going to understand it. And you're going to see the shapes and all the other shortcuts that you want. It's not really, like the shortcut is write it out and refer to it and memorize it. And then you'll recognize it in more songs, right? If you don't write or you don't read, then I would still submit that you need to recognize it somehow. You have to submit it to memory, right? So it's like G major 7th, you know, and you're like, okay, where's the 3rd? Where's the 7th? Okay, so that's my 3rd and 7th of a G major 7th. So even if you don't write or you don't read, then I'm still offering that this is a way to know the chord. So that's that. Now let's play the bass line. The difference in the bass line is that you don't need to write it out. because you can see the letter. So it's a G chord, then it's then it's an F sharp chord. So you just see the letter, or you memorize it, right? So I'll call it out, and that way, if you're not reading, you can go based on what I'm saying. But if you are a reader and you have it in front of you, then read it, because you want to empower yourself with whatever you have. Okay? So first chord is G major, and we're going to always play root fifth, only going down to the fifth. We're not going up. So it's like this. If we can't go down to the fifth, then we stay on the root. We play the root twice. And it's always short, long, weak, strong. So listen. So weak, strong, short, long, weak, strong. Going down to the fifth, or just staying right here if we can't go down. Okay? That's what I learned from a Brazilian bass player in Miami. He told me all those rules. So according to him, he's speaking for Brazil. Okay, and then there's all the other things that North Americans do that, like, whatever. But I'm just giving you, this is like the root. We just start with this, right? Let's start with this and do it well. Make it feel well. 2, got 3, bass line, and F sharp, 2 bars. E minor 7, 1 bar. A7. D major 7. G major 7. C sharp 7. F sharp 7. B minor. B7. One more time. G major 7. 2 full bars. Let's slow down. F sharp 7. 2 bars. E minor 7, 1 bar. A7, 1 bar. D major 7, 1 bar. G major 7. C sharp. F sharp. B minor. B7. Good. So that's for each of these chords. What I recommend that you do is, the next thing that I'm going to recommend that we do is that we learn the full arpeggio in extended range, all inversions. So that looks like this: G major, is all 4 notes in the arpeggio, but we started from each one of them, and we take it as far as we can go on our instrument. So cello starts on the note D, right, and you play the 4 notes of G major, right, then you go back and do it from F sharp, and then from G, and you go all the way up until a D on your A string, right? So we do the same thing so if you want to, you can write out the extended range arpeggio. The way to write that out on the violin, you would write this. And that would give you the information. For F sharp 7, you would write this. You write a diagonal little cloud, a little, like, just dots. And that's your visual reference. Because we're not going to sit for hours and try to memorize it if you have the ability to do it that way. Right? So you write it out, and that's going to make it faster. So, so every chord in I clearly need to practice that one. F sharp 7, right? E minor 7, A7. Every one of those. Here's the thing. The thing about memorizing arpeggios is it's just memorization. Anybody can do it. Actually, anybody can do it. But you got to be willing to put the work in and just memorize it. It's one thing that it's just like a proficiency. It's just a proficiency you can just have. Now, I'm not saying you should be practicing all the time for proficiencies. I think that you should take like 10 minutes out of an hour and work on certain proficiencies. And the rest of the time you can work on other things. But this is one that you just need to have. You need to know your 3 types of 7th chords. in these ways. And I don't even care if you can play them fast, I just want you to know them fast, right? So write them out or start to work on some of those arpeggios. Same thing with the next one, F sharp. Right? So you can work on that now if you want. G major 7 and F sharp 7. E minor 7. A7. D major 7. G major 7. C sharp 7. F sharp 7. B minor 7. B7. Do it again. Excellent. Some of them are weaker than others, right? So you need to make a little note, like if you want to learn the tune, then it's just like a concerto, you know, what are the practice spots? And so it's the same as with classical music, you know, what we tend to do is we just play through, well, first of all, we tend to play melodies and stuff like that, which, you know, everybody in the room knows how to play the melody. So, like, I'm not even going to cover the melody most of the time on tunes because that's what you're good at already anyway, right? So, but you want to identify what are my weakest chords and say, well, I'm going to spend an extra 5 minutes on those and bring that up to the level, right? Maybe there's 2 chords that challenge you, you want to work on that. And we'll do the same thing with some of the scales here in a second. So I want to talk about the scales. Yeah.
Question about that last exercise.
Yeah.
I found myself like with each chord change, going back to the lowest point and doing kind of the inversions. Do you try to do it that way, or do you try to like stay where you were when the chord changed?
So that's a good point. So that's kind of moving like to another step, which is where we voice lead 2 changes back to back.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the next step. Like later, like we won't even probably cover that today, but I'm going to just address it though, so everybody gets a little sneak peek of what's coming, right? So my opinion, like the way we just did this exercise, I don't even care how you do it. Like the point is, there's a proficiency that I want you to be able to do, which is just to be able to play the chord. I don't even care if you can do it in time. I just want you to be able to know that information. That's like a core proficiency, it's a core knowledge. The next step is to be able to voice lead 2 chords. So any 2 chords. So if we have, let's say, F sharp 7 and G major, we'll play them back and forth. And you could do it vice versa, like that's a separate exercise is when we practice voice leading the chords. Does that make sense, Nick?
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And even like at this tempo where we were just practicing that exercise a minute ago, that's an arbitrary tempo, right? You don't want to enforce that on yourself. You just want to take each arpeggio and be like, I want to know this as well as I can. You know, kind of rubato or whatever tempo you can. Yeah.
I had a question back with the rhythm that we were doing with the down, down, up, 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 down, down.
Yeah.
I wrote it out with 8 notes.
Yeah, perfect.
I ended up with only 7 beats.
No, there's a
So I did something wrong.
yeah, it's ducka 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 16.
Okay, so I must, because I have down, up, down, up, 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 down, down.
No, you skip. There should be 2 beats in between the last up and the down and the first down at the end.
Where did I skip?
You need to put 2 X's in between your down and your up at the last half there.
I know I'm missing a beat, I'm not sure.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You need to add a beat in between the up and the down bow at the end of the bar.
Okay. Okay, and then, oh, so this is, oh, there, oh, it's there.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
You got it, yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, now let's talk about the scales. So on the first 2 bar, G major 7 is just a D. So I want you to write in the scales. Now you can just put parentheses, and this is going to be your scale. So I'll call out the scale as we go through. So it's the first chord, D major scale. B harmonic minor scale. B harmonic minor. D major scale. Still D major scale. Still D major scale. Now we're going to D melodic minor. B harmonic minor. D major, E harmonic minor. I'll say that one more time.
Okay.
D major, this is the scale. Right? B harmonic minor, B harmonic minor. D major, D major, D major. D major, D melodic minor, B harmonic minor, D major, E harmonic minor. Now I want you to hear how it sounds. I'm only going to use those scales. And in fact, I'm going to play very indiscriminately, choosing from notes in those scales, so as to make it as hard as possible for me to sound good. Okay? So we are going to work on harmonic minor.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is the scale that's over the C#7?
D melodic minor, and it does not change on the way down. So it's the same as the D major scale, except it has a minor third and not a major third. Right? So we're just going to play over F#7, and we're going to play in the key of B harmonic minor. And what I encourage you to do for this is actually write out the harmonic minor scale. Like that. On the cello, you'll start on C#. Go up to E. Right? Harmonic minor. I'm going to start, we're going to do cello solidarity. I'm starting on C#. You can play after me. Play after me. Coming down together. Da ba da ba da ba da. Right, and when you played it back to me, it was easy, right? But now it's not easy. But if you wrote it out, if you wrote this out, it would be just as easy. Because then you could look at it and you would see all those patterns. And then you'll ingrain it faster. You'll learn it faster. So there's that harmonic minor scale that happens, and then there's another harmonic minor scale that happens. So I'm going to play the, let's see. So this, what we could do with this piece, we could go over the whole progression again, but actually let's look at melodic minor really quick. real powerhouse scale in jazz, and it's harder than it seems. So same thing, like, you know. So just playing it everywhere that you can, taking a sequence out of it. So just try to play D melodic minor, and if you want, you can write it out for yourself. So cello would start on C sharp, low C sharp, right? Empower you to groove over these things and practice over the form, like at your tempo, your comfort level. So I'm going to ask Harmony to play the bass line for me, and I will do the comping and take a solo. Okay? Unless you don't want to.
No, it's fine.
All right. So what's your tempo now? It's just the three of us. It's just the three of us.
Just a hair slower than that tempo.
Okay, you good? 2, cut 3, cut 2. All right, so twice as fast. Oh, D,
Gotcha.
2, cut 3, cut 2, cut. Now you come for me. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Yeah. Under pressure, I like it, man. Alan just moved to New York City to pursue jazz, all the way from the Bay Area. So, you know, I gotta put him on the hot seat. So that's nice, man. That was great. And good job, you just learned, Harmony just learned bass lines 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago, so that's ridiculous. All right, so now you might be like, well, I can't quite get this thing, or I can't quite get that thing, but you can do other versions. Like, so let's say it's just 2 people. So Lillian, you take a solo if you want, or do whatever you want, but I'm gonna come for you in like a friendlier way, right? So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the point isn't whether you're doing everything perfectly, but the point is that you're listening to somebody else and you're practicing the form, right? And don't, if you try to do this by ear, you'll crash and burn. Most people will crash and burn. So you want to have every note, every little thing that helps you so that eventually then you memorize it. Like I didn't just memorize it, like I practiced it 300 times and now I have it, now I know it. And then I can be creative with it. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to find a buddy and be like, let's go work on it together. And it's either duo or trio. There's different problems with duos and trio. Because if I'm trying to do, if you want to really challenge yourself and play it all just solo, there's all kinds of things you can do if it's just you backing up somebody else on the fiddle, right? Even if it's not like exactly what would happen in a band. And it's all good for you to practice, because it's basically you're like keeping the time. So that's what I'd like to invite you to do for like the next, 10 minutes before you go to your next class, unless there's any questions anybody wants me to answer. Cool. All right. Thank you very much. Class dismissed.
Do you want to?
Duos, trios, lots of spaces to investigate.